The live stream, please, for the Civic Licensing Committee.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this meeting, hybrid meeting of the Civic Licensing Committee. I'd like to remind all attendees that this meeting is being recorded and webcast live on the Council's YouTube channel. I'd like to remind all remote attendees to mute their microphones when not speaking, unless they wish to speak, and they should raise their hands by raising it remotely. Can I also remind members attending hybrid meetings where costly judicial matters are being considered that they will not be permitted to participate by audio only and must have their video and camera functions switched on at all times. Thank you. So item number 1, apologies for absence. Do we have any?
Convener, there's no apologies for absence. Councillors Brays, Durno, Gavin Nicholl and Councillor Speed are all joined us remotely. The rest of the members are in the chamber.
Thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest and statements of transparency. Councillor Scott.
Hi, can I declare a statement of transparency on item number 7? The applicant's wife contacted me and I gave advice but didn't discuss, so I'll take part. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Is there any others? No, I see no hands. Thank you. So item number 3, minutes of the previous meeting. These have been submitted for approval as a correct record. Are we happy to agree to that? Thank you. Item number 4 is the delegated approvals. This is report number 26025. Are we happy to note these? Thank you. And item number 5, exception to cinema licence conditions, processing requirements. This is item number 28125. Do we have any questions around that, or do you? Just introduce. Yeah, I'll pass it over to legal to introduce.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Members will recall certainly this year and previous years that we have received requests to the cinema licences where non-classified films are to be shown. And obviously the conditions in the licence require the BBCF or BBFC, whichever way around it is, classification to be in place. Otherwise, written authority from the committee is required. We have no obligation to entertain such requests, but obviously we wish to try and accommodate that to facilitate local cinemas being able to hold, like that Landsea Festival in Montrose. However, as you will very well know, we have had a number of issues with access to films and also timescales, and previously we've had special committees. And as we cannot charge a fee for this, the legislation does not permit, we're looking to try and formalise and streamline the process and introduce some requirements which will allow applicants to know the timeframes by which they need to get everything in place and in order, but also allows us as officers to make sure that we have the opportunity to say no or yes, depending on what is approved. Like the civic applications that we have that opportunity, if it's an incomplete application, to refuse it before it goes anywhere to consultation. So that's the recommendations to accept a streamlined process.
Thank you. Councillor Whiteside.
Thanks, Convener, and thanks, Stuart. I totally appreciate the reasons behind all this. It was a difficult situation recently. However, I do understand the important local economy, etc. I just hope that we don't make the conditions too rigid and inflexible. I would hate to see something being refused on a technicality of being a day over the 2-month period, for example. And I hope that we can retain a small level of flexibility within reason. I obviously appreciate that we can't be jumping through hoops and calling special meetings at the very last minute, etc. But just some reassurance that we won't be extremely rigid for the case of a few days here and there.
Thank you. I'd probably suggest that we'd look at each one, depending on the agreement of the recommendations. If there is just a day out, then we can look at what leeway is available to us with help from the officers, because ultimately it's them that are doing a lot of the hard work, processing it and preparing it. We've relatively got the easy job of just watching the films and then reporting it back, but we'll take all of that into consideration. Councillor Brays.
Yes, well, first of all, I would like to thank colleagues on this board for the time that has been spent reviewing films in the past, so that they could be shown at Montrose Playhouse. It's not just the Land by Sea Festival that might be affected here. It's all the other films, all the other non-censored films that are affected. And, you know, going to this 8-week period, it makes it more difficult, I suppose, to find slots for films that become available, which haven't been censored. I'm advised that for a small independent filmmaker to get their film censored, passed by the British Board of Film Censors, can cost many thousands of pounds. And that's why they don't just go and get them censored there. And so I would have a question just for absolute clarity. This requirement is due to legislation, not due to Angus Council's policies.
No, that's not correct, Councillor Brays. It would be an Angus Council policy.
Right, so Angus Council does, if it wants to, take a different view on this and find different ways of.
I wonder if I could just clarify. We're bringing to streamline, so it's purely for Angus Council dealing with these applications. So what is before you is for you to consider, change, amend as it would be any other report.
Yeah, sorry, just obviously, what I'm trying to get at is any film shown in a cinema has to either be passed by the British Board of Film Censors or it has to go to the local authority who may or may not choose to allow.
Thank you, Councillor. Yes, if it's got the BBFC classification, there is no issue. The licence conditions are complied with. It's only where a film does not have that the licence holder needs to apply for this exemption.
Yeah, okay, well, thanks for that. Well, I would echo then what Councillor Whiteside has said. I think we have to try and show as much flexibility as possible so that not just Playhouse, but anyone else that might want to start a cinema that's depending on the success of small independently produced films to make up a portion of its revenues, to allow them as much flexibility as we can. And I think there is room in this proposal.
Thank you. So just before I move on, we've got Councillor Scott, Councillor Meakin and Councillor Clark. But just before I take your questions, I just want to remind everyone that reiterate what Legal said when he introduced the report, that as much as we as elected members want to support our local independent cinemas, we are not allowed to charge for this service that we do. We cannot do that. So it's effectively something we have to do for free. There's no mechanism, there's no legislation to allow us to do, well, for the officers to do all of that work for free. But at the same time, as a board and committee, we have to break even. We can't make a profit, we can't run at a loss. We have to, all of our fees and everything are done so that we're just there. So just bear that one in mind as well for your considerations. So again, I'll go with Councillor Scott, Councillor Meakin and then Councillor Clark.
Questions or comments?
Questions.
Oh, I really have a comment, I suppose. I think, Stuart, maybe Mr McQueen can answer this. Like, how much notice did we get last time for this?
Off the top of my head, I think it would have been out just around about the 2 months. However, the difficulty that we had was that it wasn't a complete application at that point. In other words, we didn't have proper access to the films to allow you suitable time within that 2 months to actually view them. So if the application had come in and all the links had worked, it would have met the requirements at that point. It was because there was difficulty in getting access to them.
Thank you, Councillor Meakin.
Thank you, Convener. Mine is a comment.
That's fine. I'm happy to take that.
Okay. As I understand it, the reason that Stuart and his team actually did this piece of work is because we asked for it. We were very unhappy, as members I recall, of spending hours and hours watching films so that they could actually be shown in Montrose. Now, I volunteered to watch these films because I think it's the right thing to do. However, we did ask that something be put in place because these were hitting us sometimes, relatively quickly. And watching something like 16 hours of film is quite a long time if you're actually going to watch it. I mean, it's a long time. It's longer than most of our committees. Well, it is longer than any of the committees, I think. So I think since we've asked for it, it's now come back. I've read it, I think it's reasonable. So as far as I'm concerned, it's basically what we asked for.
Yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
It would have been a question earlier, but it's not a comment because our legal eagle there reminded us that about the fact, and you've explained it well, that we cannot charge, which I find that's a shame, because if we'd been able to charge a reasonable fee, somebody would have to determine what's reasonable, then maybe it wouldn't be quite so bad. Now, as Councillor Meehan had said there, and I'm between a rock and a hard place for Council Whiteside as well, because I'm looking at a group of dedicated people to do something like this and bring these films. But when I watched and heard the two women speaking, I wasn't that sure that they really understood when these two women were speaking just a few weeks ago, that they actually understood what was involved, because it was a huge amount of work. I've done it twice. Not easily, I have to say. I was on to you quite a few times trying to get into this and believing it was all my own fault. Actually, it turned out not to be. So, yes, we did ask for something to be done. And yes, you brought it along. So I'm not in a rock and a hard place with that, because I asked you to do it, you've done it. I just actually wish we had been able to get a reasonable amount in, because every other, I was hearing about people that I'll not go into great details because you're often misquoted then, but I've heard that other local authorities charging for all sorts of things, not this, I hasten to add, because obviously you can't. Just wish we could. Maybe that would help.
Thank you. Councillor Scott.
Thank you, Convener. I'll have my comment now. Yeah, I'm very supportive of this. Of course, we're supportive of the Land and Sea Festival and any that comes before us. However, I really did. I've watched every year, has yourself, Convener, and I really struggled over the last 2 years because of the amount. I think last year it was 11 hours each, and I think this year was 8. I don't sit and watch my own telly that much, so it was a real struggle, and that's only just my part. And then we've got the time the officers are spending on that, and obviously I don't know, but it must be a struggle. So yeah, I think the 2 months is reasonable, and I think this has come before us now. Is this the 3rd year? I think we've had it. Right, so I think this is the 3rd year that I've certainly watched it. So I think by now, I think they should be able to meet that 2-month deadline. So yeah, I'm supportive. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Councillor Brace.
Yes, I think there was a change in management at the Montrose Playhouse, and I know that the new manager is working much more closely with the producers of Land, the Sea, and I think they can work in this. I think they will get a whole lot slicker, so I think there's a problem with the legislation. That's not the business of this board, though, this committee, because you've got a situation where if a licensing committee just decided, well, we're not going to have anything to do with this, well, it means that these independent films might not be shown anywhere because they can't afford to go to the British licensing. Anyway, there we are. Thanks.
Thank you. Do I have any further comments? No. I would add that yes, we want to support our local cinemas, especially our independent ones. And as Councillor Brace has pointed out, there's a great expense to send things to the official classification board. And we want to encourage all aspects of that. But as Councillor Meehan had pointed out, when he was previously the convener as well of this committee, that we have been looking to sort of look at, can we introduce some kind of policy, and officers have done as we have asked, and here we are. So with that, I'll move to the recommendations. There's quite a few on here. So number 1 is to note that consideration of exemptions to cinema licence conditions are a matter to be determined by committee in absence of delegation to the Director of Legal, Governance and Change within Angus Council's scheme of delegation to officers. 2, to note that the Cinema Licence Act 1985 does not include provision for Angus Council to charge a fee for the provision and consideration of exemptions to cinema licence conditions. 3, agrees that applicants will meet the processing requirements for an exemption to cinema licence conditions by providing a complete application as defined in this report and a minimum of 2 months advance notice of the screening date. 4, delegate authority to the Director of Legal, Governance and Change to refuse to accept an application that is incomplete and or fails to provide the minimum 2 months advance notice of the screening date. 5, agrees that an application for exemption to cinema licence conditions will be considered at the first scheduled meeting of the Civic Licensing Committee outside of the 2 months advance notice period unless there are exceptional circumstances as determined by the convener or in their absence the vice convener of this committee. And 6, note that the special meeting of this committee will not be called to consider an application for exemptions to cinema licence conditions unless they are exceptional circumstances as determined by the convener or in their absence the vice convener of this committee. Are the committee happy to agree all of those recommendations? Okay, thank you very much. So we will now move on to item number 6, short-term lets. This is report number 28225, and this is in relation to the Isla Cottage, Glen Isla, and I believe with Mr. Adrian Turk. There we are. Is there anything you'd like to say to your application before?
Pardon. I'd rather wait to hear what Environmental Health would comment on. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you very much. In that case, I shall bring in Environmental Health, or Stuart.
Yeah, just to update members, and I would recommend you go to Mr. Petrie and ECP, but we did receive an updated notification from ECP to say that the water samples have been checked and are now satisfactory, and therefore they have withdrawn their objection. But as I say, it'd be helpful just to confirm that.
Thank you. Mr. Petrie, are you happy to confirm that?
Hello, Convener. Yes, absolutely happy to confirm that. We've received satisfactory water test results now, and we can now remove our objection to this application.
Thank you. In that case, I'll go back to the applicant. Is there anything you'd like to say to your application?
No, thank you very much. All good. Thanks.
Thank you very much. In that case, I'll go to the committee. Are there any questions for either the applicant, ECP, legal, anyone? No. Any comments? Councillor Whiteside, Councillor Clark.
It looks like this is a very straightforward application now with no objections remaining, so no problem with it.
Thank you, Councillor Clark.
Good morning. Well, we were just being advised by our colleague there that everything's okay. So I just want to wish you all the very best. I just would caution one thing: always try to be a good neighbour. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments, questions? No. In that case, we'll go to the recommendations. So that they are before us there. Do we have a Councillor Scott?
Would you like me to move to grant the application?
I thought that's why you were nodding at me.
Yeah, okay, subject to standard or any additional conditions.
Thank you. And Councillor Meehan?
I'm happy to second that.
Thank you. Any changes to that? No. So in that case, we're happy to grant subject to the standard conditions. Thank you. So your application is granted. Best of luck with it, and you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We'll now move on to item number 7, which is the new skin piercing and tattooing application. This is report 28325, and we have Mr. Barry Leal. Yep. So when you're comfortable, and there's a grey button on the microphone there, I'll give you the opportunity so that you can talk to your application. Thank you. Just as soon as you're ready.
Hello. I'll just read out a statement that I've prepared for what the meeting's about. I've tried to keep it as just straight to the point as possible. I would like to ask what the profession of the objector is, and maybe get to that later. And also I need to ask about the variation, just in case I forget. So thank you for hearing me today. Opportunity to speak regarding my application for a tattooing licence. I would like to begin by making it clear that I take this profession and the health and safety of all my clients extremely seriously. Tattooing is not just my livelihood, it is my chance to work in a way that supports both myself and my daughters, who share the premises with me. I've trained at the UK and Tattooing Academy in Manchester, where I completed a comprehensive course that included bloodborne pathogens, cross-contamination control, and many other things. An exam tattoo on a person, which I passed easily. I have also invested thousands, it's £5,000, in Ben Fisher tattoo programme, which covers every single aspect of tattooing in depth. Along this, I continue to learn through online tutorials, industry research and daily practice. I am open and honest with all my clients about my experience. They all know I'm new to this industry, and I tell them that before I tattoo them, and they sign the waiver and everything as well. And also, if there's a design that's beyond my skill range, I'll tell them I can't do it, or I'll offer them something else. I won't attempt something that I know I can't do unless it's somebody that's came to me and said, do I do this for free? And for experience or something like that, kind of practice. So that does demonstrate that I put my client safety quality above profit. I don't charge a lot like other tattooists, purely just because I believe I'm still learning and I'm getting better. The waste management compliance that she said in her objection, when I first began tattooing, I was advised incorrectly. I was told that the sharps could be handed into the local Boots pharmacy. I did that. I had a big box full of sharps. I took it there, and then they phoned Environmental Health. The lady at Environmental Health clarified that this was not appropriate. So I immediately, the same day, I put in proper clinical waste contract in place. I have a licensed waste carrier with a duty of care documentation, which is here, and I can send my notes available for inspection. The client safety and aftercare. I tell my clients before they start tattooing, during tattooing, and after tattooing. I even message some of them if I remember. I ask them and tell them exactly what they need to do and what they need to stay away from. They need to stay away from water, rivers, in one case where she got infected. Our pets, another one was our kittens were scratching us, they got infected. That isn't my fault. I tell them, I even give them a free little bag of stuff to look after the tattoos. So on the rare occasions where healing issues have occurred, they were linked to factors outside my control, like I've just mentioned. There was one issue with red pigment, which is quite common in tattooing. The guy took an allergic reaction to the red pigment. Like I said, premature exposure to the water, the river, pet hairs, scratches, and second skin dressing, which is a new thing now. Instead of before it used to just be cling film, there's a thing now, it's like a clear sticky on plaster, and it just protects the tattoo. You take it off after 3 days, and it helps. It kind of tricks your brain into thinking that there's nothing wrong with you, because at the end of the day a tattoo is an open wound, so to keep it closed and safe for as long as possible is what I do. So but some people do get red around the area with the adhesive. I also follow up with the clients with their aftercare. Now, when she says about my portfolio in the objection letter that it's plagiarised, my work's not plagiarised. The tattoo industry, there's thousands of people with the same tattoo. I've got stuff on my iPad where I spend hours and hours designing my own tattoos. Every tattooist will take a tattoo and then they'll change one line and say that it's theirs. If somebody comes in to me with a tattoo, I really want this tattoo, I'll do that tattoo. It's just people further back in the tattoo industry that gatekeep it all and think, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not like that. I will gladly tattoo somebody what they want. So I haven't plagiarised anything. There's no, if you look online, you'll see, like I use a thing called Procreate on my iPad, and you buy these things that's filled with stamps and stencils, and I'm not the only one who buys it. So there's thousands and thousands of tattooists who've got the exact same material as me to use. So yeah. Most of my work is either client supplied reference or common motifs, roses, lines, use, Shakiro styles, figures-based flash sheets that are widely requested across the industry. These are not unique to any one artist. I have the original sketches and designs and digital files, what I said. The objection questions my competence, waste management and the quality of my work. I've provided evidence today, which is here, that you can read. I've got testaments from people that you can read. Compliant and committed to continuous improvement, which I've always done throughout my life. Whatever I do, I try and strive to be the best that I can be at whatever I do. I would also respectfully ask the committee to consider the expertise of the objector, which I don't know, and also where she got the information about the sharps bin, because if that came from Boots, surely that's not allowed to be telling people in the public what other people are doing. I don't know. Anyway, to my knowledge, she's not a licensed tattooist, nor does she have professional qualifications in this industry. I believe it is important that the licence decisions are based on evidence, training and compliance, not on unqualified personal opinion or hearsay. If she is a tattooist, then she needs to get her facts straight before putting myself and my family in such hardship. We have a new shop in Brechin that we renovated and have spent thousands, that's one of my daughters there, thousands on renovating it for each 3 businesses, and I've been unable to provide for my family for the last 2 months due to this. Anyway, that's pretty much it. I am got testimonies here from the previous place that I worked, Beautiful Chaos. All the customers, well, some of the customers, testimonies, reviews, for you to see.
Thank you, Mr. Leo, and I appreciate that you've brought those testimonies along with you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to circulate them because, as you can see, we've got members online, so they won't be able to see them. And also, there's lots of rules and things about when we publish the council papers on the council's website, they have to be available for the public to see. So, unfortunately, we won't be able to accept them. But thank you anyway.
Can I read out the one that's from the last place that I worked at, Beautiful Chaos?
If you want to do that, I'm happy to let you do that.
Yep, right now or?
Yes, please.
Yep, okay. Barry Leo rented a room from us at Beautiful Chaos from May 24 to July 25 for the purpose of tattooing. In the time Barry rented the room from us, I would often have to nip into Barry's room for vouchers, consult forums, etc. And I was always met with extremely clean, tidy room, an extremely clean, tidy workroom, whether he was in it or not. Barry's room would be kept to the highest standard at all times. Personally, myself had a few of the girls in the salon and partners have all had tattoos from Barry and have been really happy with them. Professionally speaking, from someone who is in the tattoo and piercing industry, the mention of infections in the letter of objection is solely an aftercare issue and not related to Barry's work at all. I have had tattoos in a few different studios over the years and have had infections twice due to my aftercare. If clients aren't looking after their tattoos, following the correct aftercare, that responsibility lies with them. To summarise, Barry from day one has always practised high standards of hygiene. Yes, he is still learning, but in an industry like this, you never stop learning. The letter of objection to me is from a disgruntled local person who relies solely on trying to destroy anyone who possesses as a competitor. Kind regards, Mary Duthie, Beautiful Chaos.
Thank you. Is there anything else you would like to add before we move on?
No, I don't think so. Like I say, I've got all the ones that I've got here that you can't see, more or less can say the same thing from lots of different people. I've also got the pictures of some of the tattoos that I did, but if you can see them online. You go to Cathedral Link or Reflections on Facebook, you'll see the work that I've done. It's there for anybody to see, so yeah.
Thank you. Just one question for you. At the beginning of your deputation there, you mentioned about a variation. Just to clarify exactly what that was, and just to your mind.
Right, yeah, so I was in Beautiful Chaos and I got a licence there for 3 years. It was a clinical room. Then me and my 2 daughters moved along to where Reflections, which is Woolworths, that was the old shop, Reflections, and we transformed the whole shop. So everything is split new, and we weren't allowed for a variation. Whereas, if anything, our new premises was more clean and clinical than the old place. So I was a wee bit annoyed that I had to spend another £400 for another licence, while I still had 2 years running on my current one, and my daughter had only had hers for 4 weeks, and she had to apply for another one as well, and that's, to me, very unfair.
Okay, legal are going to come in and answer that for you, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Leal. I think I've actually given advice on that myself, and it is a matter of the legislation. A variation where it's a change of premises is not permitted. It is a brand new licence, and that's by operation of law. There is nothing this committee nor the council can do about that.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant from members? Councillor Clark.
Morning, Mr. Leal. Just reading here, and I'll just say right away, statement of transparency. I know nothing about tattooing, so I'm listening with real interest here. Your application speaks about you're going to be open Monday to Sunday, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night. Is that right? No. Right. Okay. So it says here the application is for skin piercings and tattooing licence. And it just says Monday to Sunday, 8 o'clock. Is it within these times then?
Sorry. It would probably be Monday to Saturday. And it would be from 9, 10 o'clock till whenever. It just depends, you know. Tattooing's a funny time. Some people you might not work the whole day, but then you might have 2 at night because people work during the day, so it's all different times.
If I could come back and share, I would appreciate that, because this is a skill, this is a piece of art, so you know, not exactly getting time and motion on it. Can I just ask then, when you mention your family members, this is a family business, are your daughter or daughters going to be working with you?
2 daughters. One's doing nails and she's away to do massaging things. She's going away to do a course things for massages. And my other daughter is doing tattoo lips and lamination eyebrows and things like that.
Thanks, Mr. Neal.
Thank you. Any other questions from members? Councillor Durno.
That's convenient. Mr. Leal, you have liability insurance for your business, do you not?
Yes.
And that's extremely hard to get public liability insurance if you're not considered to be a professional, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, I just thought that. I'm an ex-hairdresser, so I sort of know the beauty industry a bit here. I actually don't have any problem with this application, so I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. And just for clarification, it's a standard condition of the licence that public liability insurance is included. So, Mr. Leal, just to clarify, we've legal have gone back and double-checked your application, your original application you made, and it is Monday to Sunday, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. So do you want to just clarify to us, because it was asked, what your operating hours are expected to be?
On a general note, it would be Monday to Saturday, round about 9 or 10 till 5 or 6. But, like I say, if somebody can't come in during the week, I would easily do it on the Sunday. I have no problem working different days. It all just depends on when the client is available. I'll work around them rather than saying, no, I can't do it because I'm not open. So, yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to refer to legal here.
Thank you, Mr. Leal. You really have to determine yourself what you want the hours of operations to be, because they will be specified on your licence. So if you're saying Monday to Saturday, and that's what you want it now, you will not be permitted then to operate on a Sunday. So your application does say 7 days a week, 8 till 10 p.m. Do you want it to remain at that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so just for everyone's clarification, it will be Monday to Sunday, 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. Any other questions from anyone? No? Okay. And I would now move to the objector, but I believe they're not here and they are not online.
That's correct.
They've indicated they're not attending.
Okay, so they've indicated they're not attending. You can see their objection is there. With that, there's no other objections from statutory consultees, in which case I will ask Mr. Leal if you'd like to sum up for your application. There's no one has anything else to say at this point, so if you want to sum up on what you've said already, then you're more than welcome to do so.
Not really. I think I've pretty much said it all. Like I say, I am new to this industry and I work every single day to try to get better at it. Everybody starts somewhere. I have tried to get an apprenticeship doing tattooing. It's not your normal tattoo. It's not a normal apprenticeship. It's where you just go in and you learn about cleanliness and all the rest. But I've done all that and continue to do that every day. But yeah, it's a family business and I do everything by the book. So it's, yeah, I think I've said everything. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I'd invite any comments from members. Councillor Whiteside, then Councillor Scott, and then Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Convener. Yeah, I think it's very difficult for us to take seriously a letter if the objector doesn't want to come along and actually expand on where she got these views, where he or she got these views. I don't have an issue at all with this application.
Thank you, Councillor Scott.
Yeah, thank you, Convener. the letter makes, the letter of objection makes several allegations, none of which are evidence though. So, I mean, these are just purely hearsay. I can understand that, you know, this has been a huge delay for you, Mr. Leal, and the distress that has caused you. You appear anxious today, and I can understand that. But yeah, you know, the objector's not here. We can't question. There's no evidence being provided. So yeah.
Thank you. Councillor Clark.
Thank you, Convener. Yes, Mr. Leal, you answered me well there as best you could, and that's great. Just quite right, to be honest. When we read anything, and as my colleagues have said, if we can't ask somebody questions, it's very difficult. When somebody's gone to the length of writing something with lots of things in it that I can't ask like I've just asked you, that makes it impossible for me to determine on that. As I said earlier, I don't know anything about cartoon, but there's lots of people do it and lots of people want it. So I don't have any problems, and would like to wish you good luck.
Thank you. Councillor Nicholl, Gavin Nicholl.
Thank you, Convener. I mean, this type of service they're offering doesn't really cause a lot of disturbance to neighbours or anything. I mean, the lights would be on, would be the worst thing going, and maybe the occasional scream of terror for some of the clients. But I think they're doing well, and I hope they have the best of trade, and I wish them all the luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nicholl. Councillor Meekin.
Thank you, Convener. Just to say I've got no issues with this application.
Thank you. Back to Councillor Scott.
I was just going to move to grant, Convener. Move to grant subject to standard conditions.
Thank you. Councillor Whiteside.
Happy to second.
Thank you. Any changes to that? No. In that case, Mr. Leal, we have granted your application subject to the standard conditions. So good luck. I would ask, as much as we can quite clearly see how keen you are, that we'd like you to get started straight away. But unfortunately, there's a 28-day period that you'll need to wait in case anybody wants to make any appeals, anything like that. But if they don't, you'll receive correspondence and then you'll be good to go. So,
and if it's the same person that appeals, that'll be just...
Let me just come in there. The legislation requires us to provide 28 days for an objector to appeal, but that is to the Sheriff Court, not to us. So that would be a formal appeal to the court. Okay?
Okay, so hopefully that 28 days will go quick and then you can crack on. Okay? So you're most welcome. Thank you very much all. And that concludes business for today. Thank you, everyone.
Could the live stream be stopped, please?